back. Yay.
With a tiny
And we're
little
live.
fan.
Hello. Welcome to
Every time, never keep control of the. Hello,
I like
everybody.
being in control.
Welcome to the show with no name. I'm Adaire Palmer and
I'm Theonie Roussianos. Point the other way you think.
I have no idea. Well, this way. We bring you the show with no name. We dreamed this up because we want to help people in the local community to help each other by raising their profile and encouraging awareness and support for things that matter to them and their communities, or you and your communities. We also help for-purpose organisations, charities, service clubs, and we want them to connect with people in the communities to raise brand awareness and help staff and volunteers working with them to become the best brand champions, that's hashtag brand champions, that they can be for their cause. Theonie, have we got a show today?
Woo! We do. And I just want to acknowledge here, hi, Glenn, thank you for joining us. We love that you turn up just about every week, and we love you for that. Thanks for your support. So today we have the pleasure of the company of Rose Davidson. Now, Rose is, I don't know if I like this term, mature-aged. She's mature. She's not aged. She's a mature-aged, young at heart woman, a little on the eccentric side. So I'd say definitely that. And she's married with 3 grown-up children. We do. You know, we are what we attract, or we attract what we are. She's a no-nonsense, no fluff type of lady with kind and caring heart and personality to match. Sounds like a bit of a paradox, but describes her perfectly. She was born in Canada. I actually didn't know this about Rose. She was born in Canada and came to Australia when she was 12 and has lived in all states except WA. Rose owns a Kelpie, a Roddy Cross. Pardon?
Sorry, that was my bad.
What'd you say?
I said the state of disarray. That's the state I live in. I didn't mean to hijack the intro. Keep going.
No, that's okay. So Rose owns a Kelpie, a Roddy Cross, who was a rescue dog, a Kelpie Roddy Cross, a rescue dog, 2 cats and 2 lorikeets, and she also cares for her eldest daughter's 2 cats. Now, this is why I won't let my children get pets, because I know I'm going to be lumped with all the care. Rose has a varied work and educational background, having worked in both the public and private sectors during her years on this planet. Not sure what she did on her other planets, but we'll find that out. From customs officer, PA, document controller, receptionist, and small retail business owner operator, to name but a few. Rose resides in Adelaide and since 2015 has owned her business named Does Biz, which is a document and office efficiency service. And although working predominantly with women and mums in business, her vast array of services is available to anyone. Her involvement with Healing Through Love came about because of her business and as an advocate for social justice and an avid campaigner against all forms of abuse. Rose is passionate about equality and justice for all. Healing Through Love is a domestic violence prevention initiative formed by 4 Adelaide-based businesswomen in early April 2018. A committee was formed shortly after and Rose became the secretary. They held their inaugural Pamper Day event in May 2018 at the SA Aquatic Centre. And the goal of holding the Healing Through Love Pamper Day is to help as many survivors of domestic violence in our community as possible by increasing awareness and offering advice on services available to them and their family members, and to raise much needed funds for women's shelters. Thank you for joining us, Rose, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, ladies, and good morning to viewers. How are you?
How are you going?
Wonderful. Now, Glenn, just before we move on, Glenn says nobody is ever eccentric. They're just so special.
I've been told that.
I kind of like the idea of being eccentric. It's sort of
You're just weird. You're just weird.
I like weird as well. That works.
I like weird.
Weird's fun. Weird's fun.
Well, really, what's normal? In all seriousness.
Normal is what normal is. I mean, what's normal for me is not normal for you. So there you go.
Now, we have amazing things with the Healing Through Love.
Yeah, so how did your involvement start? So as we read out before, it's your involvement came out as a result of your business. So because you're secretary, obviously, because of your area of expertise. How did you connect with these women and get the committee started? Because the point I'm trying to bring across is people who, you're all business owners, and people who run a business lead a very busy lifestyle. They've got their business to run, they've got a household to run, they've got their families, you know, all the normal commitments that everybody has. There's still time to do something to make a difference for something that's important to you.
I guess the initiative was actually formed by Charlene Lynch and Rima Tashman and Natasha Olsen and Rachel Bainbridge. And I know Charlene through a previous we became friends over time. I met her the previous year at a function. And so she asked if I would come on board as the secretary because she knows that I'm absolutely awesome. So, and that my skills, you know, could be of benefit to the group, and I, you know, get them organised and just do all the behind stuff that you know they just don't have time to do. So
it's
that's
not
how
just
I became
do all the
involved.
behind stuff. It's not just all the behind stuff, but there's nothing happens without the behind the scenes stuff happening. So you need someone that can drive that. So it's not just the behind stuff.
Well, it is just for me. It's just you know, it's just something that I do, and I'm really happy. It's my passion to help others, and it's my admin is my passion. I love it. But where people dislike it, I love it. So
we need people like Rose.
Well, we have used people like Rose, and in fact, we have used Rose herself for our own business to get some of that back-end stuff happening.
Indeed.
Now, with let's rewind to last year's Healing with Love event. It's always scary and exciting. This year. We're still in 2018, aren't we? Yes.
Yes. Wow. We're fighting 2019 very soon, but don't get us there too soon. You know what I mean?
I know, I'm aging before my time. So the inaugural event, when you're putting an event together, something that you're planning on, you know, making an annual event or quarterly or whatever, but something you're planning on making an annual event, the first one's both exciting and scary to get off the ground because you don't know if it's going to be a success and how it's going to be received and if people are going to jump on board and whatever. So how did the first one roll out? Did it go to plan?
Most of the time it did. I think I kept the committee on track most of the time. So, you know, if they got a bit off track, you know, there was emails, there was messages, there were chats in the group. They just, make sure that everything was on track. And then Rachel, of course, because it was held at the SA Aquatic and Leisure Centre, she works there. So, you know, we thank them so much for their sponsorship for the event. Rachel was a big motivated to the rest of us as well, you know, because we had such a great venue. It was huge, and we had so much room and so much room left over for all the things. But the event, went quite smoothly. Putting out the tickets, I think because it was our first event, we weren't pushing them as well as we could have, as well as getting sponsors. We got what we got because through people that we knew through business, but we could do with a few more this year because we want to make the event bigger and better and have more attendees.
Yeah, make it accessible to more. And that's all part of the learning. The first one was clearly still a success. It's never a failure. It is a learning on what you can do to improve next year. That's
correct. And we learned a lot of lessons. And I've actually started earlier this month, or actually late last month, sending out emails to people. The next event is going to be opened by Carolyn Power, who is the Assistant Minister for Domestic and Family Violence Prevention here in South Australia. She has kindly agreed to open. And Ms. Paula Lewethan, who opened our event last year, is actually attending next year. So that's really great. And, you know, we look forward to that.
Now, so Paula, I know Paula's a...
Well, sorry, this is the wife thing, isn't it? Talking over
you may speak. You may speak.
Sorry. Paper, scissors, rocks. Who talks first?
And go.
Rose, we actually didn't make the event, but we were watching with interest. I know there was some stuff come up that we weren't actually able to be there. But in terms of that, the things that happened at the event, the service providers were there. Just explain some of the things. I know some of the amazing women that were there who were donating their services and helping their sisters. So could you just go through some of the things? Well, like what would be the experience for somebody who was in a position of being a survivor of domestic violence and coming into the event? What would be the experience that you would want them to have when they walk through the doors? So just explain from how that would look.
We got a lot of comments from people to say how relaxing the atmosphere was there at the event. We had several modalities. We had massage therapists. We had a hairdresser who was had people lined up because, you know, some of the women hadn't had a haircut for over a year and their children hadn't had haircuts for, you know, the same length of time. We had hand massages. We had neck massages. We had aromatherapy. We had financial planners. We had someone from SAPOL there giving advice. It was just, it was really great. It was so relaxing. We had a room there that we were selling clothes for a gold coin donation so that the ladies could attend court or they could attend a job interview. We had speakers upstairs that shared their experiences through domestic violence in a nice way. So they weren't actually bringing up the bad things, but they were bringing up the positive things and how they'd move forward from the abuse. And we had some meditation going on up there as well. We had some yoga happening downstairs. It was just a really great day. It was really relaxing and the room just smelled gorgeous with all the aromatherapy going on in there.
And I also recall seeing a live video happening of Charlene and her ladies doing belly dancing as well for entertainment.
That's correct. Yes. And they will be doing that again next year. And Mary McLeod, she played her guitar and she brought one of her friends along as well. I think she plays the banjo. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. So I don't really want to get it wrong. But, yeah, we're hoping to invite them again next year to do the same and maybe someone else. Just some quiet background music, to promote some relaxing atmosphere.
And Mary McLeod, for people who don't know her, she writes her own music and they are about women's empowerment.
They are, and they're absolutely gorgeous songs. They really are beautiful.
Song for International Women's Day.
She did. Yes, and she's got the voice to boot.
Yes, lucky her.
I know, right? You sing along because her songs are quite, they're songs that you can pick up quite easily. They've got an easy beat and tune to sort of follow along with, and you pick up the word, the lyrics quite quickly. But I don't have her voice.
No.
So you kind of mime. You kind of mime while Mary's singing because you don't want to do it to people.
I reserve my singing for karaoke nights over a red wine or so.
Oh yeah. See, I don't even do that at karaoke. I can't do it to the people in the pub.
No, I do it at home. So I think the animals can hear me and maybe the neighbours.
Right. Now, moving forward to the next event. So the last event was in May. Do you have a date locked in for the next event?
The next event is on the 25th of May, 2019. It will be at the Playford Uniting Church in Manapara. They've kindly donated their premises for the event, and that's absolutely awesome. I haven't been. I'm going to have a look on Monday to see the space inside, but from what I've seen from the outside of it, it looks amazing. It looks huge and lots of space. So we're looking forward to heaps more exhibitors coming on board and donating their time and their services.
Now, when it comes to exhibitors, what are you looking for? What have you already got, or are you in the process now? You've just started kicking it off, and you're in the process of approaching people now.
I'm just in the process of approaching people now. I'm hoping that the ladies that donated last year will come on board again this year and donate their beautiful services again. So again, the aromatherapy, the massages, the financial advice. We had a lady, she actually wrote a book and she was giving those away. There was just so much there. And anyone that wants to know, and anyone that wants to know more can contact me.
Yes. And now, are there any services that were missing from last year's event that afterwards you thought it would have been good to have somebody in this area? Is there anyone specific you're looking for that you didn't have at the last one?
I think we were looking more for hands-on stuff, so things that people could actually do rather than have done to them. So, we're looking for things that people could, so maybe some craft things or things like that the ladies can sit down at a table and maybe, I don't know, make a card or make a picture or do something like that. We didn't have a lot of those. Sorry, Adaire?
Anything for the children, like face painting or that type of thing? Was there anything? We
had a small room there, and we're hoping to get puddle jumpers on board next year.
Hoping to get
puddle jumpers on next year.
Oh, okay, yep.
And hopefully they'll set up a little area for the children to play, and then that will be fully supervised.
So puddle jumpers, for those who don't know puddle jumpers, do you want to explain a little bit about who they are?
Puddle jumpers, Puddle jumpers are basically a children's charity, and they are a volunteer-based organisation. They have an office in Glendore, and Melanie Tate is an absolutely wonderful lady, and she started it some years ago. So they just cater for children basically. They have meals, I think, on Mondays. They give out free meals, they give out haircuts, they give out all sorts of things to children who are disadvantaged in our community.
Beautiful.
It's sad that we need these services, but at the same time, it's so heartwarming to know there are people out there providing these services for the people who need them.
Absolutely. And, our Pamper Days wouldn't be what they were, what they can be without the donations of others and through the sponsorship of, businesses who give either in-kind donations or cash donations so that we can donate the money to the women's shelters in Adelaide and help those. Yes. Last year was Catherine House. I think we may do that again this year. I'm not sure. We haven't made a decision on that just as yet, but that will be, that's something we'll decide later on.
So for anybody who wants to make
here you go.
All right, for anybody who wants to make a physical donation, perhaps they have a business and can't be there for whatever reason, or, they may not live in Adelaide or whatever, they can't be there on the day to help. What kinds of physical donations are you looking for?
Well,
do you put together like gift bags or whatever for people to take away?
Yeah. We're looking for things to pop in a goodie bag. And I can pop the link in there. We've got a sponsorship package as well, where we're asking for donations of goods and other services. But we're looking for things to pop in goodie bags, just for mums and survivors of domestic violence.
Yeah, and how many attended last year?
I think we had over 120 people. It wasn't because we only had 6 weeks to organise the event, and the ticket sales obviously were out. Yeah, the ticket sales didn't get out as quickly that's why the ticket sales are out so early now, so that we can get people aware. And, I'd really appreciate people if they could share the event on their pages or on their business pages or, on their personal pages as often as they can, just so to get people aware and we can get more people attending.
Have we got a here?
I don't have a link to the event above. I have got a link. Is the event created through the Healing Through Love page?
Can I put it in the chat?
You can put it in the comments. So when the broadcast is over, put a link in the comments. But I've got a link to the Healing Through Love page above. Is the event created from that page?
The event is actually in the page, so it's in the page. So
so you can find it there. But after the broadcast, Rose will pop a link down below. You can send a message via the Healing Through Love page or contact Rose directly. I have tagged Rose in the blurb above this video, so you can just click on the tag, go to her page and send Rose a message, connect with her and see how you can help, or ask how you can be helped, because the services are here to help people who have been through domestic violence and, you know, trying to get through the other side, because it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, well, the ladies that are on the committee have some knowledge of domestic violence. They're either survivors or they have family members who have survived the trauma of domestic violence. So, we're all very aware about how much of a challenge it is to get to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Rose, one of the things that you said before that I just wanted to go back to was you were talking about the gold coin donation for the clothes for things like court appearances, and perhaps it could have been even job interviews, that type of thing. So are you looking to source new clothes or secondhand clothes?
Oh, yes. New clothes or secondhand clothes, it really doesn't matter. The Real Mould set up that stand last year through one of her other organisations that she's involved with, and we're hoping that she'll do that again this year. New clothes, second-hand clothes, it really doesn't matter for a gold coin donation, and we had clothes and shoes and handbags and all sorts of things, so all those things would be greatly appreciated.
So I guess I do need to clean out my wardrobe, so here's where it can go.
Well, I've got some corporate suits that I know without a doubt that I will never wear again.
I'm surprised to actually hear you say that.
Yeah, me too.
Myself unemployable. And
I have not seen Adaire in a suit.
I can't
picture it.
I've got high powered, what do you call them? Power suits.
Yeah.
And they're very nice, they're quality clothes that have
they've hardly been worn.
Yeah, they've got to be obviously quality. They can't, just be something that it's got.
Yeah, nothing that should be thrown away.
Well, that was the point. Was if there's a specific reason for them, so we don't want bathers, for example. Like today would be great, but if you're in Adelaide, it's like damn hot. But if you don't want, so specifically types of clothes would be the smart casual, the clothes that actually are more like that sort of tailored, or I don't know the words I'm looking for.
But even casual clothes. I mean, a lot of women are financially abused, and so they can't even go and buy themselves clothes. So something simple like a T-shirt or a pair of jeans, or just a nice casual dress.
You've just
awesome.
raised another point. You've just raised another point. When people think about domestic violence, the initial reaction and thought is generally physical abuse.
Oh God, no, there's so much more to it.
There's so much more to it, and I think financial abuse is probably one of the biggest. There are no scars, there are no bruises, there are no, but it's when the money is basically controlled by the other person to the point where you even need to ask for $2 to go buy a litre of milk.
Yep. That's exactly right. And then there's the psychological abuse, which, again, no scars, no bruises. But, I think the psychological abuse is much more damaging to a person than physical abuse. I mean, it leads to suicides. It leads to all sorts of mental health issues. It's a devastating place to be. It's awful.
Yeah, and it all has the same result. It leaves you feeling as though I've not suffered through it myself, but I've listened to other people's stories, and the stories that you hear, it all leaves you feeling worthless, and that's all you deserve, and that you're not worth more. And
that's correct. That's what you're told. That's what you're told every single day. I mean, if you live it through it long enough, you believe it. You just begin to believe it, and then you just think, well, why am I here? What's the point? What's the point of just continuing on? And then, of course, then if you've got children in the mix, they hear it all the time, and I'm not saying especially sons, but sons hear their fathers talk to the mothers. So in a derogatory way. That's correct. And and this is where we have to break that cycle. We have to break that cycle of and bring our sons up in a better environment, I think.
Yeah. So the sons and daughters, children need to see that even if this is what they've seen mum go through, it's not okay, and the cycle has been broken. So mum has been able to break out of that and move on, or the other way around. I know men suffer domestic violence as well.
They do. Yes, they do.
And so, mum or dad has left the relationship, and then that's the first step to breaking the cycle, that it's not okay. You don't have to stay in that relationship because of the kids. And that's often one of the, I can't leave because of the kids, or, but breaking that cycle shows them it's not okay to be treated that way.
Excuse for the kids, because ultimately the kids are the ones who suffer the most. And we have to get into the schools and educate the children early that it's not okay to speak to someone in a horrible way. It's not okay to be a bully. It's not okay to be physically violent to anybody. And it starts with early education.
Absolutely,
it does. Rose, we're just about out of time. I'd love to leave it on a high note. Because what you are doing and what the committee is doing is really amazing. And I actually think I love what our dearly departed friend Kirsty Roach says. It takes a village. It really does take a village. And in any circumstances, whether it is like me here with my parents in a retirement village, or whether it is someone a mum, or with children that are looking for some support, anyone really, it does take a village. And I love the way that you and the girls have built a village. Really, it's a village that you're building and you're bringing people together and sharing the skills and sharing the love through what you're doing, through Healing Through Love. So that's an amazing thing that you're doing. And any way that we can support, we will have you back. And I think we'll have Charlene and Natasha when they're available. We can have you all on. And we did interview them both before the first event. Yeah. We had Charlene and Natasha on, so it would be good to have a follow-up with all of you on. Now, remember to connect with Rose, send her a message privately or message the Healing Through Love page. Links are above to find out more information on how you can support. Rose will pop a link to the event below. However, if you go to the Healing Through Love page and scroll across the events, you will see the event there. Purchase your ticket. So it's a free event, is that right, Rose?
That's correct. Attend? It's free. Free for attending, but for
free to attend.
But for exhibitors, there is a material cost, so they must apply to raffle prizes. But that's the only cost. They don't have to pay for anything else. They don't have to pay for space or the table or the chairs or anything else. All they have to do is apply to raffle prizes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of their products or whatever.
So we could donate some, even if we're not having an exhibit, we could donate some vouchers for shoes to go in a raffle, perhaps.
Oh, most certainly. That would be excellent. That's totally.
We would love to do that.
Definitely would love to do that.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. No, that's great. And any other donations, similar, you don't have to set up an exhibit to actually donate a raffle prize. And the more raffle prizes, the better, because it's helping us raise funds for women's shelters.
And then more attendees have a chance to win, the more prizes you have available as well.
That's correct. Correct.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Well, don't go anywhere, Rose. Thank you so much for joining us. We've loved having you on today. Now, this is your first.
This
is your first time on.
I'm a virgin.
Yeah, we love it. You're no longer. Virgin no more.
Thanks for having me, ladies. And thank you for letting me talk about Healing Through Love. It's very passionate about it. So, yeah, Thanks again.
All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll chat with you in a moment. I love the stuff these women are doing. Rose, oh my God. And I didn't know that she was actually Canadian, so there you go. Now, if you remember to connect with Rose, it really is important. These women do need your help to, you don't know the impact a small gesture can have to a person, like how big the impact can be. It might be a small gesture to you, but to the person on the receiving end, it can change lives.
And indeed it can. Please be generous. And even if you're not, like Theonie said, if you are not in Adelaide or South Australia and you want to support this worthy cause, it does take a village, and we're all part of the global village, really. So
we're all village people.
We're all village people. Let's do the one. So, but even if you can just do your bit by sharing the event.
Yes.
Click on the event, share the event, get the word out there, because you don't know who's watching on social media.
And you don't know who needs to know, because you don't always know who might be currently going through, suffering with domestic violence. You like we said, they're not always physical, visible scars. You don't know who's in a situation where they feel they need to get out but can't, and need to find the right support. So share away.
Share this broadcast, share the event. We'll get the word out there. It does take a village. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you at the same time.
We'll be back
at the same time. We'll see you. Same place next week with our village. Bye for now.